Just to tell you a bit about my practice area, or our practice area, it's tax, pensions, employment and incentives. And we are a broad group, but we're all specialists in what we do. And most of what we do has to do with people. The work is top-notch, but you're also working with some really smart but interesting, bright people from a complete mix of backgrounds. We definitely don't have one Clifford Chance type, that's for sure.
The reason I chose Clifford Chance was because it really honestly seemed to me to be the most diverse of the firms that I was looking at. I felt very welcomed, and it just was a space for me as soon as I stepped into the door.
I've just qualified 2 months ago, so I'm pretty fresh. I was not a law student, I was an English student, so I've taken quite a circuitous route. I was at the University of Warwick, and in my second year there, I did a couple of vacation schemes at other firms. I got to applying for training contracts. CC offered me a job. To be honest, it was a bit of a no-brainer from there. I did a variety of seats across the firm's finance practices. I was seconded out to EasyJet for 6 months during the pandemic, which was really cool. My fourth final seat was in incentives, and I found that it was a really interesting mix of the kind of fast-paced transactional stuff that you see in other departments, and perhaps some of the more kind of technically, intellectually rigorous work. Switching between those two, often at quite short notice, was really difficult, but also really interesting. When I came to qualification, I found that it was perhaps the only seat that had offered me that particular balance.
So if I was to look at the work types that trainees get involved in, and that's across the whole of our practice area, they'll have the opportunity to work on a lot of the high-profile transactions the firm does. Our area is perfect for people who like to juggle lots of different things and have lots of variety. We've recently been working on the takeover of Morrison's, the supermarket, and our trainee has been heavily involved in that. It's given an opportunity for them to speak to the clients, get involved with drafting, look at some of the logistical sides of how these transactions work. So it's a really nice good news story that you can think, I've made a difference to literally thousands of people who work in that supermarket.
It can be a difficult job, but you are working together with amazing people who also have been through these tough times, who also have had these burdens. That amazing feeling when you have done something right or you've learned something new, and just that sheer euphoria of thinking, I got through this and I did amazing work and I've helped the client, I've helped all these people who are behind everything that's going on. That really helps me when I'm going through a rough bit of work.
We're obviously a really global firm, and trainees will be working with colleagues from all of our offices across the network, but also our client base is very international. And so if I look at a lot of the projects that our trainees get involved in, they're often busy speaking to people from lots of our different offices. Now, how do we make something that looks straightforward in the UK work on a global basis? And so they are working with people, doing that analysis with them, and it's a really global part of our work.
The way they handle those deals is obviously really impressive. I think there are all these offices in all these countries worldwide. Clifford Chance is very well placed to handle international aspects of work. So within all those offices, you can drill down and find an expert. Whatever the problem, wherever it is, there's usually somebody you can find who will be able to solve that problem. And that, to me, strikes me as being uniquely impressive. There's never a day that goes by where I'm not slightly amazed by the firm's ability to produce someone who can just answer whatever question it is that you might have.
Pensions is a very wide area with a lot of history, a lot of legal history behind it. Partners and senior associates often take the time to take me aside and give me the full background of a legal area, just so I know and just so I have that knowledge behind me before I start working. And that's fantastically useful when you're being able to advise a client or draft a document thinking about the context in which it was created and the reasons why you need that particular piece of information to be given to a client.
My superiors, my bosses, my supervisors, the partners, have always been really invested in my development. And I think one of the joys of being in a smaller team is that when these more complex deals come around, you will often find yourself doing a good part of the work there. I think everybody who does this job understands that the long hours are going to be a part of it. But I think it's also unavoidable that you will be there late nights a lot of the time, or some of the time perhaps. I think what helps you there is the camaraderie you kind of develop with your own team. I think going through those experiences together means you develop a really close bond. You begin to know that you can really rely on the people around you, and that helps you get through it.
We are very broad. We bring a lot of different perspectives because we don't have one or even a handful of types of people. We will always be going that extra mile for clients, and I think once you've added those things together, and the fact that we're on the whole pretty human, then I think we're a good combination.
Even in larger scale deals, I don't feel additional pressure because, to be honest, with every deal that we do, whether that's small scale, large scale, they're all important and we bring our best to the table.
So if I was looking at the areas at the moment that I think we're really growing in, one of them would be ESG, so environmental social governance, and that's an area that we're looking at from all sorts of different perspectives as a firm, and it's also something that our trainees are getting fully involved with.
It's very exciting seeing the development of the firm, seeing us grow, seeing us focus on new areas and seek out new clients and new ways of working. Lots of things are changing, lots of things are happening, and I'm really excited to see where that goes really and how that affects my career going forward.
Ultimately, this is a really people-focused business. If you are bright, if you are committed, if you've got the willingness to learn and you're inquisitive and you want to get on and you get on well with people, those are the skills that would have been important when I was a trainee, and I think they're just as important today. Coupled with just being a bit authentic and being yourself and not worrying too much about needing to have some sort of corporate image or face, really important.